And we just went live. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into our Sunday night Wrestling with Comics show here with Mr. Ed Kuhnell from Suspicious Behavior Productions. How you doing, Ed?
Great. Thank you very much.
And our frequent co-host right over here, Christopher McLaughlin from Ghost Show Press. Chris, how are you, sir?
I am utterly fabulous, sir. And if you will indulge me for just a second, I wanted to extend a toast to all the people that wrote, backed, supported, yelled out the window, put a loudspeaker on top of their car and drove around, sandwich boarded, or otherwise helped the Ghost Show Kickstarter for Transgressive Horror Fund. So this is for all you lovely people.
I know I've been wearing out Sharpies on bathroom walls around truck stops in Colorado, so I did my part.
That was you?
That was me. I got time on my hands while I'm there. I figured I'd do something. And hey, I have a new opening video snippet to establish that we are a high production value podcast to be taken very seriously. And let me display this for you guys. Hang on. Whew, there we go. All right. That was from a comic that never was, the Luchador version of the Justice League.
Ask about that. That was an awesome.
I wish I could show it without the music, but yeah, it's just a guy named Jerry Stillwell, but I'll look up the artist for next time. But
well done.
Speaking of the unholy alchemy of wrestling and comics, Mr. Ed is preparing, or actually, you guys have launched a Kickstarter dealing with that very concept. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I've talked about this before on the show here, but Invasion from Planet Wrestletopia is the miniseries, of which there are 6 issues. They'll all be on Comixology soon, right? There's just 2 of them there. But anyway, it's a 6-issue miniseries that we, myself and my co-creator Matt Inton, created, and it's about this professional wrestler, Rock and Roll Rory Landell, and he is angry at his promoter, so he cuts up the promo to end all promos. He wants he's not getting the world belt like he was promised. So he says, "I don't care about the world belt. I'm the galactic champion of the universe, brother." And of course, the TV signal goes out into space, is intercepted by wrestling aliens who aren't happy with his boast. But so we did 6 issues, and they're all completely finished. It's a whole story. It's all done. They're all available digitally on Amazon Kindle and again soon Comixology. But the Kickstarter here we're doing is we heard from a lot of people. We got a great response from it, which is really awesome. And we heard from a lot of people that they'd love to get it all in a print. They'd love to get them in print. So we're just the Kickstarter is really for the collected volume. It's really for the trade, and it's going to have some really cool bonus material, exclusive bonus material. We came up with some cool rewards, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty low risk, but you get this whole really fun, funny story, which a lot of people have told us. If you love wrestling, you're going to dig this, but you don't have to be real into wrestling to dig this story. It's kind of like Galaxy Quest meets the WWE. It's another way, a lazy way for me to describe it. That's it. And it's in the early days. I don't know, we're like day 5 or 6 or something, and it's going pretty well. I think we got like 20% funded already, and that's
not bad.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah. So we imagine, and again, it's early, so we imagine. That's the one that I started by accident. And then,
I got the wrong one.
That's okay. We were playing around with this, and I was trying to do something, and then it said, "Hey, you're live." And I said, "Wait, hold on. I don't want to."
Kickstarter is unforgiving, man. It really is.
And it is mostly my fault, I think. But I had to cancel it, start a brand new one, and I put the link there in the private chat.
I think I got it. This is there's actually money on this.
There we go.
Yeah.
So 24 days left, and we're getting there. And so we've got the rewards that includes trading cards. from the comic book. And it includes like a poster. So there's the official Galacto Massacre poster, which is the Galacto
my friend, you should pause and take some applause for Galacto Massacre.
Galacto Massacre. So it's
you swirl that around in the glass and savor that. Trust me.
Yeah, it's this great. So obviously, it's I don't think it's spoiling too much, but there you go. So it's like
there you go.
The one true galactic champion is really angry, wants to wrestle our protagonist, Rock and Roll Rory Landell, for like a galactic title unification bout, right? And Earth's fate hangs in the balance. So what do you do? Do you just have them wrestle? No, you turn it into a paper. You got to have a pay-per-view. So this promoter makes everyone on Earth pay $19.95 plus taxes to find out what's going to happen to Planet Earth. And he calls it Galacto Massacre. But so just like the WWE makes kind of like an official poster for each WrestleMania, we came up with, okay, we'll do an official Galacto Massacre like mini poster that you could own, put up on your frame and put up on your wall and look at every day, and or throw in the garbage, whatever you but so that's everything kind of leads up to that, and there's a lot of twists and turns. There's some people that want Rory to get there to defend Earth and his fake galactic championship belt he gave himself, and there's people who don't want him to show up at all, and so there's like any good wrestling angle, there's lots of backstabbing and surprises and stuff like that.
You compare this to WWE, but if you don't mind an old wrestling fan,
yeah.
It doesn't remind me so much of WWE as it does like classic Memphis wrestling.
That's a good point.
It's just nuts enough to be entertaining.
Yeah, that's right.
It walks right up to that line of like where it's clearly just fucking with you and treating you like an idiot, and stops right there, just right on the edge of hilarity.
It does sound like something like they would have, if you would have brought this to the WCW executives, they might have ran with this. Right?
I read it and I hear a lot of Lance Russell and Dave Brown.
No, it's a good point. The story starts in sort of the territory era, and we talked about this some last time. Like growing up in the 70s, I was lucky that we had an NWA territory, Pacific Northwest Wrestling, and then the story sort of jumps forward, and then what happens is we're in sort of the Attitude Era. But it's still and this is of course an alternate history, so it's the Attitude Era, but it's like the territories haven't quite died yet either. So that is definitely just as you noted, that's kind of the flavor of what's going on, So it was a blast to write. The response, like I said, it's been really, really good from comic book people and from wrestling people. And of course, there's some overlap there, but which is what brings us together, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm cosplaying that cover.
Yeah, there you go. It's like, so that's the promoter, Dick Drazen, who's pretty obvious. It's obviously a thinly veiled, Vince McMahon type character, but. It's one of my favorite scenes in the book is these aliens land and they're looking for Rory, right? They're looking for the guy who made this boast. It says that he's the Galactic Champion. Well, it's 15 years later because TV signals take a while to travel, at least in science fiction. So they're looking for him. So that they go to the last place he was seen. They go to the last to his boss. And they're like, "Hey, where's Rory?" He's like, "I haven't seen that bum in 15 years." They get angry and they're about to like snap his neck, and he literally at that moment because he's such a such an opportunist, such a sleazebag, he's like, wait, I could find him for you on one condition. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, we put it on pay-per-view. And so they're like, okay, great. Yeah, everyone should see me, everyone should see me pound this wrestling into a kill. Sure, fine. But he keeps negotiating. He's like, they're literally like choking him to death. And he's like, all right, but I want 70-30 split. And they're just like, and then they're like, whatever. And he's like, I want theme park licensing, fast food merchandising. He's just like, he keeps going. And it's Matt was. I'm not laughing at my own jokes. This is, I think, mostly Matt wrote that scene, so I can, objectively, I can.
I can vouch. I'm a pretty tough audience, and I thought it was a very funny book.
Yeah, it's a great scene. Yeah, there he is. He's like being choked to death, and he decides to negotiate, all the merchandising and all the, all this other stuff, DVD and video, VHS royalties and all this stuff.
Do you by any chance watch Dark Side of the Ring on Vice?
I watched it a lot. I know they just started again, so I don't think I've seen any of them. Maybe it's the third season now.
Yes.
I've seen most of them.
The third season opens up with their show on Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
They duly document the night after his death when Vince was shoving a camera in his widow's face. So did your husband overdose?
Jesus God.
Yeah. So yeah. There's no sleazy promoter thing that you could put in here that would seem far-fetched.
Right. Yeah. Vince does not. Vince. I should say. We should say for the record. His name crops up in more than one Dark Side of the Ring episode. And
it should.
It's rarely good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll hear about, there's the Ultimate Warrior episode coming up.
He comes off well in the Warrior episode.
Okay. Or at least
I mean, by comparison, anyone comes off well.
Yes.
Right. Good Lord.
Yes. They read the firing letter that Vince sent him when he literally says, "You have become a legend in your own mind."
There's only one I can't bring myself to watch. Not to bring everything down, but I can't watch the Chris Benoit episode. I just can't.
Yeah, that's a sad story.
I mean, not that any of them are uplifting, but I just cannot bring myself to watch. I think it's the only one.
Yeah, I mean, it's an episode that breaks your heart, and then at the end, when it tries to show that there's been a bit of family reunification there to try to give you something of a happy ending. Mm-hmm. Chavo Guerrero Jr. comes on, and he says to this day, people will still direct message him on Twitter with the last message that Benoit sent him, just to mess with him.
Wow.
And I'm like, just a reminder, humanity is garbage. So yeah, it's a tough 2 hours by any stretch.
Yeah, the Von Erichs episode.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember, for a long time we've heard things. I mean, obviously, all these Von Erichs died in all these separate terrible incidents. So we knew that was going on back in the 80s, 90s. And I think there's always whispers and rumors, but it was interesting in that episode. I felt a little bit. It was horribly tragic, but you ended up feeling that feeling more for Fritz von Erich than you thought you would. I mean, he just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, even before wrestling started. I mean, just man. But that's what fascinates me more. As I got older, drifted away from wrestling. What drew me back was all this fascinating behind the scenes stuff. All these books and Bobby Heenan's book and all these things, all these Chokehold was another fascinating book.
Yes.
All that behind the scenes stuff is there's the I'm sorry, if you could go back one page. So one of the rewards, we're going to make these physical trading cards, and we're going to start with that. We're going to start with that set right there, and we're going to basically they're going to look a little different, but so we had a designer just design these cards that look great. I mean, they look just like the WWF as it was known at the time, trading cards that like myself and a lot of people actually bought back in the day. I actually happen to have a couple here, but so nice. Like we basically made them look like these, and the front and the back. You can't see the back right now. I got. But anyway, so one of the rewards, we're going to make these physical cards of those characters and a couple others. We're going to make 2 sets. We're going to make one set with the wrestlers that kind of has an 80s vibe. And then we're going to make another set that's like the Galacto Massacre trading card set. And so it's going to have more of a 90s vibe, late 90s Attitude Era vibe. But I'm a big trading card nerd, so I'm excited. I'm excited to make trading, to make these at all. And hopefully people dig them as much as we do already. But I just have this idea that I keep on to just keep making trading cards based off these comics, right? Just wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, the designer just did such a great job, and there's the back. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Series 1. It looks like we're totally serious about. I'm totally serious about this. We're having a checklist of these. If I had the money, I would make like special parallels, chrome cards. Like I would
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like doing, I guess you call it back matter kind of stuff. I do superhero tabletop role playing game stuff, and I will take great joy, sometimes more joy out of these. I will create fake snack cake ads for the back. So
watch out! I know you're about to. You're about to get. I thought there was a steel folding chair for a second here.
That would have been perfect.
So this is my son Connor. You want to say hi, Connor?
Hi.
Hey, Connor. What's up?
So and I've been getting angry texts from my wife, his mom, and he's down here telling me it's time for bedtime.
No problem, man. Thank you so much for having, and thanks everybody for paying attention and listening. And like I said, check out the Kickstarter. We got other cool stuff going on, and appreciate the support.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on, and we'll definitely be pushing out there on social media, and love to see you guys fund. And the only word of advice I ever give to anyone who does a Kickstarter, and I give this to Chris too, is that don't despair. Good things can happen the last 2 weeks, and even if it doesn't go the way you want it to, you've got a list of people who are excited about your stuff. Yeah, and you can try again.
I think so. I think that the worst thing that happens is look, the comics exist. They exist digitally. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see a print version, but it'll probably happen, and if it doesn't, we'll be all right. But
fun book, great read. I've read it myself. I love it. So please check it out. And Ed, thanks again for coming on. Chris, thanks for co-hosting.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Mike. Looking forward to the horror book.
Godspeed on your Kickstarter.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll catch you all next time on Wrestling with Comics. And there's an awkward moment between